Started going to kindergarten in Jericho. I remember our first chantation or song that we used to sing as kids. It was called Al-Arab Ahbabna wal-Yahud Klabna, which means Arabs are beloved and Jews are dogs. Didn't know what a Jew was, but was raised in a very anti-Semitic culture. Yet I never asked myself as a Muslim, what's the reason for this animosity? I believed what I was told. I believed the rhetoric and the propaganda.
And welcome to our program, A Muslim Journey to Hope. In this program, we interview a wide range of Muslims who have discovered Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. I am one of these believers, and I pray sincerely to God that one day you will become one too. Today, we are going to show you an amazing testimony from a Palestinian man named Walid. Walid was zealous for Islam and disliked Jewish people. Today you'll see how he dealt with this issue. But you'll also see how Walid's life underwent a radical change when he met Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. This encounter was based on truths he found in the Holy Bible. Let's hear from Walid now.
Started going to kindergarten in Jericho. I remember our first chantation or song that we used to sing as kids. It was called Al-Arab Ahbabna wal-Yahud Klabna, which means Arabs are beloved and Jews are dogs. Didn't know what a Jew was, but was raised in a very anti-Semitic culture, being Palestinian. So that was the prevalent thinking process of the Palestinian. So you can imagine going to school, walking outside my home, maybe seeing graffiti on the walls all over the streets. In fact, you won't find a square, you cannot find a square meter that doesn't have graffiti on all the walls of the Palestinian areas. And what kind of graffiti are we talking about? Statements like, we knock on the gates of heaven with the skulls of Jews. That to enter paradise, we must fight a jihad process. Going to school, my teachers, graduates from Al-Azhar University, will teach us Islamic eschatology, the studies of the ends of times, that the Jews will be destroyed to the point that the trees and the stones will cry out, there's a Jew hiding behind me. Come, O Muslim, come, O slave of Allah, come and kill him. This is a saying by the Prophet Muhammad. I even memorized it in Arabic. لا تقوم الساعة حتى تغلب طائفة من المسلمين طائفة من اليهود. قيل أين يا رسول الله؟ قال في بيت المقدس وأكناف بيت المقدس. In Jerusalem and the surrounding nations, that the trees will cry out and they will destroy the Jews. Yet I never asked myself as a Muslim, what's the reason for this animosity? I believed what I was told. I believed the rhetoric and the propaganda. That Jews stole Palestinian lands, Jews persecute Palestinians, Jews are prophet killers, Jews spread mad cow disease, Jews put infertility drugs for Arabs so they don't have children, Jews, the international Zionist movement runs the world, the Jews run the Congress and the media in America. The West is taken over by Jews. Jews influence the West. So all this ideology that I had as a Muslim, I was married to a Mexican American, Catholic basically. I wanted to convert her to Islam. And she said, why should I leave my heritage? I said, well, the Jews corrupted the Bible. Because in Muslim belief today, the Christians corrupted the New Testament and the Jews corrupted the Old Testament. She said, where are the corruptions? if you show me the corruptions, I'll become Muslim. So I purchased the Bible for $10 and I started to study it. And I was fascinated with what I discovered. I discovered that the very enemy that I have, Israel, has been predicted to come back to that land. I began to understand, to ask the question, why does my teaching in Islam hate the Jewish people so much? And the teaching in the Bible loves the Jewish people so much. I began to understand, what is the connection of the Jewish people in that land? What is the connection of Christ towards Israel and the Jewish people? I was fascinated to find out in Isaiah that he will come to fight for Jerusalem and for the Holy Hill itself. That in Joel chapter 3, I began to read that God will gather all the nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And there he says, I will enter into judgment with them on the account of my people, my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the people, the Gentiles. They have also divided up my land. That God will judge the world for dividing the land of Israel. I was looking at evidence. I began to look at evidence. I was interested in evidence. And in the book of Hebrews it says, faith is the thing hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. That God gave us a certain amount of evidence to believe either the Bible or the Quran is true. I began to examine the evidences between the two. I believe the Quran was true because of the classical Arabic language, of certain things written in the Quran that has scientific evidence. There was science in the Quran. I began to document the science in the Quran that I learned as I was in high school and growing up in the Middle East. And then I began to examine scientific evidence in the Bible. The Bible had much more scientific evidence. And all the so-called scientific evidence in the Quran were taken from the Bible. I began to look at the prophetic evidence, amazing part of the prophetic evidence. I counted 8,352 verses in prophetic evidence. No other book in history has so much prophetic evidence.